Brought to you by StationHouseCoffee.com and InspiredDisorder.com/audible.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
UFC 251 just happened this past Saturday, July 12th, 11th, just yesterday as I'm recording this. A stacked card, 3 championship fights. Of course, the main event was supposed to be Burns versus Kamaru Usman. Burns caught the COVID, and Masvidal slipped in because it was super necessary, and took the short notice fight, and was able to make it there, make the weight, and showed up and was past all the hundreds of COVID tests that the fighters have to go through, and everybody. And it was a pretty great card. Also, Rose Namajunas fought. Peter Yan, Jose Aldo. Peter Yan, Jose Aldo were fighting for the bantamweight championship. Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway was a rematch. So let's start it off. First off, the main event. It was okay. It went to a decision, which good on Jorge Masvidal for lasting. It was a lot of grappling against the cage, a lot of foot stomps, but a pretty. I thought it was pretty easy to score for Kamaru. I thought he won it. Would like to see that fight again after Jorge has a full camp preparing. So hopefully he'll get a chance to do that at some point. Who knows? Maybe they'll do a rematch with Jorge and Nate Diaz, whichever the Diaz. I always get them mixed up. But good win for Kamaru to hold the belt. Alexander Volkanovski retains his belt, although I did not agree with this decision. I thought Max Holloway won their first fight, even though I thought that fight was closer than this one. I thought this one was much more decided for Max Holloway. The first 3 rounds I thought were easily his. The first 2 rounds he dropped Volkanovski multiple times, had him hurt. I think the longevity of the fight ended up going. The last 2 rounds went to Volkanovski, but I had it for Max Holloway. I thought it was a bad decision. Definitely still a close fight, but I thought I thought he won that fight. I thought it was a pretty easy win for Max Holloway. Not an easy win, but I thought it was definitely more decidedly for Max Holloway this time than the previous fight. So that sucks, and not that Volkanovski's bad. He definitely was throwing leg kicks for points. I know they were joking about it because the last fight he won it because of the leg kicks. And in the embedded vlogs that they do, the UFC does leading up, he was literally making fun of the fact that that he's training to do points, leg kicks. Everybody's like points. And then in the fight, he was literally throwing just weak leg kicks to get points. Every once in a while there would be a strong leg kick, but he was throwing leg kicks regularly for points, which is fine. It's fine, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see who he fights next in featherweight. And same thing with Max Holloway. I love Max. Maybe Max will move up to lightweight because he is so much taller. But who knows? Peter Yan had a dominant performance over Jose Aldo. I think Aldo had his moments. He had some moments, but I think overall, I don't know. It did go to the 5th round, but yeah, I don't know. I think Aldo is probably going to beat a lot of people at bantamweight, but Peter Yan is a good champion. I could see Peter Yan. Maybe I don't know. It's bantamweight's gonna be tough. There's a lot of people waiting, chomping at the bit for that belt, and I don't know how long Peter Yan can hold on to it because he wasn't. Even though he got the finish, it was a pretty close fight, I thought. And then the Rose Namajunas fight, I was looking forward to this rematch. Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andrade. She did. I felt the movement that Andrade had really made it much more of a close fight. She made Rose miss a lot, but she was still. I felt it was still a dominant performance. Not quite as dominant as before. She did get clipped. That last round got a little hairy for and I think she lost that last round, but it went to a split decision. But thankfully, Rose got the win. I'm looking forward to seeing where she goes next. I guess she would probably be fighting for the belt next, which I'm all for that. Zhang Wei Li versus Rose Namajunas. I think that'll be an insane fight. Insane fight. And then Amanda Ribas gets an easy win over Paige Van Zant. And Van Zant, I think this was her last fight on her contract, so everything that she's been saying is that she wants to test free agency, even though there's no other fighting organizations fighting right now, like Bellator. I haven't even heard of them scheduling an event, which doesn't mean that they don't have one scheduled, but I haven't heard of anything there, and that would be the only other. I mean, I assume that's where she wants to go. That's where her husband is. She seems to want to fight with him, and she talks a lot about sponsorships. That she gets paid. She's gotten paid through everything else other than the UFC, even though the UFC is the reason why she had the opportunity to get all of those sponsorships. So we'll see how the reality, what her perception and her thoughts of reality are versus what happens once she gets let go, which I could see her getting let go. She gets injured all the time. I mean, she's pulled out of like 3 fights because of a broken arm, complications with a broken arm. And then when she fights, she's tough. Don't get me wrong, she's tough. And she throws some flashy stuff that sometimes catches people. But I don't really see her getting that much better necessarily. But yeah, she ended up getting the armbar. Ribas did in the first round. So a fast win for Ribas. And then the rest of the night was a fun night of fights. Let's put it that way. There was a fight early on. Santos Roman Bogatov versus Leonardo Santos was a dirty fight. Dirty fight. Santos. Wait, is that the fight I'm thinking of? Maybe it is. I think that's the fight. Anyway, there's a fight where there was like 2 nut kicks and no point was taken, and then an illegal knee. And thankfully, the ref took 2 points, which I've never seen a ref do that. Apparently, they have the power to do that, and I totally agree with that, taking the points. I think points should be taken far more often, but taking the point for the illegal knee and then also another point for the 2 nut kicks. So that guy ended up losing only because of being such a dirty fighter. There was another fight that had a few nut kicks in it as well. I can't remember. It was like a heavyweight fight. But overall, fun night of fights. Not as explosive. The main event kind of was a letdown. The bad decision for Volkanovski, I felt, was a letdown. So, what are you going to do? Sometimes these next cards might be great because there's a fight on Wednesday. It's UFC on ESPN, Kattar versus Ige, July 15th. This one, again, taking place on Fight Island. Tim Elliott's on that card, should be good. Cody Stamann versus Jimmy Rivera. Molly McCann is coming back. Meatball Molly McCann should be a fun one. Yeah, some good. Sometimes on these fights where, kind of lesser-known names, they can end up surprising you because they have a lot more to gain from having a good performance. And then there's another card, UFC Fight Night on Saturday for Figueiredo versus Benavidez 2 for the flyweight belt, or not belt, but just a flyweight fight rematch. That one has Jack Hermanson versus Kelvin Gastelum, which is good. Hopefully Kelvin Gastelum doesn't get popped for weed again. Mark Diakese is on that one. Ariane Lipski should be fun in the women's flyweight. See how that division gets grown a little bit. But yeah, looking forward to those cards. No real matchups or names stand out. Jack Hermanson versus Kelvin Gastelum. It's going to be interesting to see how Kelvin looks. It's always a fun fight to watch. Both Jack Hermanson's a great fight too, so that one should be a fun card. So a lot of fights that I will talk about and recap in next week's episode. But UFC 251 is in the books, the first fight from Fight Island, which the change in venue, it seemed like there was fake crowd noise, which I don't know. Maybe they have like more people in this arena versus the fight, the Apex, but definitely it's the bigger cage, which I kind of like the smaller cage. But I still like the fact that you can hear everything. But it seemed like there were crowd noise. I don't know if it was fake crowd noise or what, but there were moments where it seemed a bit more like an actual production. Like there was where they do this shot where Megan O'Leary's like kind of partially on like the trail that the fighter's going to take on their walk out to the cage, and she kind of sets up the fight and gives a little backstory on the fight as the fighter kind of walks past them, and then the camera goes from being on O'Leary and then follows the fighter, which I think is a great shot they started doing. I think when ESPN after the ESPN deal, they started doing that kind of shot, which I really like it, and they brought it back in this venue, which I think, just trying to make it look more like a fight without the just minus the fans in the crowd. But still great. I'm looking forward to the next ones. Wish they were actually fighting on the beach instead of in an arena, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Be sure to check out our sponsor, Station House Coffee, on Instagram at stationhousecoffee.com for premium coffee, single origin, small batch coffee, brewed in Vermont, shipped directly to you. Go support small business and order yourself some amazing premium coffee now over at stationhousecoffee.com, and follow Station House Coffee on Instagram. Also, get 2 free audiobooks with Audible when you sign up through my link, inspireddisorder.com/audible. Audible is the #1 purveyor of audiobooks. They have original content and all kinds of different stuff as well for your ear holes. So if you want 2 free audiobooks, go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/audible. I would recommend getting The War of Art is an amazing book, and anything by Tim Ferriss is also a great read. Or Bert Kreischer's book, Life of the Party. That one's good. He reads that one. So get both of those books for free if you want over at inspireddisorder.com/audible. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. Follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Peace out!